Hello and welcome to this Wake Up and Stretch. This is a very quick video that you can use. It's called Wake Up and Stretch, but you can use it at any point during the day. It's just finding that moment of presence to be in the body, in the breath, and just ironing out any crinkles in the body. I say that rolling my head because I always have a tight neck and shoulders. So I hope this is something that really benefits you today, and thank you for joining. So we are going to start in all fours. Walk your hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and then from here, as you inhale, arch the spine, lift the gaze. As you exhale, round through the spine, send the gaze towards the belly button. Breathing in, arch the spine, lift the gaze, squeeze the shoulder blades together, exhale round through the spine. One more, breathing in. Exhale, breathing out. Lovely. From here, come back to find that neutral spine. Spread your fingers. We're going to extend the left leg behind, curling the right leg behind and curling all 5 right toes under. Start to send weight into that back heel. So just little pulses here, getting into that right calf. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lifting up the right leg, we're going to bring that foot to the outside edge of the right hand. So bending, rounding through the spine, gently land that foot. And then as you inhale, we're going to lengthen through the spine, reach the chest and shoulders forward, and then sitting that hip nice and low down towards the ground. I always have blocks nearby, so it just helps to lift up out of the pose, and then when you're ready, you can notice how you feel and maybe step off the bricks. Or maybe the bricks are essential in your practice. We're going to add a bit of movement here, movement with the breath. So breathing in, again, open through the chest, lengthen through the spine, and then as you exhale, we're going to send the weight back and then lengthen through the right leg, and maybe even flex the right toes up to the ceiling. Lovely. As you inhale, travel forward, find that low lunge, open the chest, exhale, round through the spine, lengthen through the right legs. Breathing in, we have one more. Exhale, half Hanumanasana, splits pose. Beautiful. Come back to that low lunge position. Slide your blocks over to one side. We're going to wiggle the right foot to the center in between the hands, lifting up that back knee, coming into a lunge. Left hand stays down on the ground, and then we lift up that right hand. As you exhale, send the fingers to the back of the room, and then inhale, reaching them forward. Exhale. Inhale, reach forward. Last one. Inhale, reach forward and all the way back up to the ceiling. From here, bring that right hand down. We're going to come into an open twist. So the feet stay still. We just lift up the left hand. One more breath. Lovely. And then bring that left hand down. Dropping the back knee. Wiggle that right foot back to the outside edge of the right hand, and then we send that leg back to all fours. From here, send the left leg back this time. Curl all 5 toes under and then pulse into that heel, getting into that calf. 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Lifting up that leg, wrapping the knee behind the elbow, and then gently plant that foot on the outside edge of that left hand. If you have blocks nearby, you can use the blocks. Bring the hands down to the ground, under the shoulders, pull the chest forward. Find length through the spine. And then as you exhale, we lengthen through the front leg. Curl those toes up to the ceiling, activate through the quads, and then inhale, we come forward. Open the chest, open the shoulders. Exhale, come down. Inhale, come forward. And we have one more. Exhaling down, flexing the toes. Inhale, we come forward. Beautiful. Slide your blocks over to the side. Wiggle your left foot to the center. And then we come up to lunge by lifting the back knee. Right hand comes down to the ground. We peel that left hand high to the ceiling. Exhale, big circle to the back of the room with that top arm. Inhale, we reach that hand forward. Lovely. Exhale for 2. Inhaling. Exhale for 3. Inhale. Reach the fingers up to the sky once you've finished. And then we bring the left hand down on the inside edge, coming into an open twist. Keep the feet nice and still. We peel the right hand high. And then bring that hand back down. Lower your back knee. Wiggle the left foot wide again. Hands under the shoulders. And then we send it back to all fours. Perfect. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. We're going to bring the right knee behind the right wrist. So coming into our pigeon pose. Again, if this feels a bit uncomfortable with the knees or if you need props, then I will show you some variations. If you're quite happy with your pigeon pose, then just come down to a forward fold. So option 1, if that right hip bone is lifted and it's hovering off the ground, use a prop and thread it underneath. Just gives you a little bit extra support. And if this doesn't feel good in the knees, then you can come to Suchi Randrasana on the ground. So wherever you are, let's stay here for a couple more breaths. Rounding through the spine, dropping the head. Beautiful. Walk the hands under the shoulders, lift up the chest and shoulders. And then we're going to move the block, come down onto that right sit bone, bending the back knee. So we're in a stag position here. And it's very similar to pigeon pose. We're just going to come into a forward fold. But this time we're just going to use the hands to walk ourselves semicircle around that front leg. And it's just a nice bit of movement here to get into different parts of the glutes or wherever you're feeling the stretch. Let's go for one more. Beautiful. And then coming up, staying in this position with the front leg still, we're going to start to lift up the back knee and then float it round to the front. So from here, we shouldn't have to do too much movement. It should seamlessly go into Janu Shasana. I'll just spin myself around so you can see. Janu Shasana, sole of that foot into the left thigh. As you inhale, lift up and over to that left foot. I think I'm getting my left and rights confused. And then exhale, forward fold. So you can either place your hands onto the foot or gently onto the calf, rounding through the spine, or lifting and arching, coming into an active position. Plenty of options. Let's go for one more breath. Exhaling. Beautiful. Coming back up to seated, we're going to come into a nice bit of opening through the front line and then going straight into a twist, moving seamlessly. So I'll demonstrate first. You can join in with the demonstration or you can just watch for the first round. So the right hand comes round behind the right sit bone. We sweep the left arm up and over. And then as you exhale, bring the sit bones back down, back into the Janu Shasana position. And then we come into a little twist. So nothing too intense. And then from here we go back round, lifting the hip bones, opening through the chest and shoulders. And then exhale. Twist both sit bones down. Gaze behind the left shoulder. Let's go for one more round. Right hand comes behind. We sweep the left arm up and over, open the chest. And then exhale, sit back down, coming into a twist. Beautiful. Coming back to the center. Now I'm all over the place because I'm demonstrating. We're going to go back into all fours. So hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Take a deep breath in. Exhaling. Bring the left knee behind the left wrist. Wiggle that back knee back. Move any props under sit bones if you need, or shimmy yourself round to lying on the back and threading the needle if you need to do that on this side. From here, roll yourselves down. Find that pigeon pose stretch. Take a couple of moments here. Beautiful. From here, when you're ready, start to lift up. Walk the hands under the shoulders, lifting up the chest and shoulders. Moving any props, lower the sit bone down to the mat. Come to find that stag position with your legs. We're going to forward fold over the left leg and then using your hands to walk you left to right over that front leg. And really explore how this feels in the torso, really reaching the chest around to the foot and then reaching the chest around to the other side. And you might find that there's one area which doesn't feel nice at all, but not painful, just more resistance. And maybe you can save that for later. You can go back to that pose and you can stay there for a little bit, just to give yourself a nice stretch. From here, lift yourself back up to stag pose. We're going to pick up that back knee and then bring it round to the front, coming into Janu Shasana. Now on this side, my knee is a bit more open. Well, my hip is a bit more open, so my knee touches the ground. I don't need a brick for support, but if your knee is lifted, please support. From here, lifting up the chest and the shoulders, facing that right foot, lifting up the arms, and then coming down, either for an active Janu Shasana where you lift up the chest and shoulders and you pull the chest and shoulders forward towards toes, or if you want something a little bit more restorative, you can just round through the spine and drop the head. It's the beauty. You can just work with the body and how you're feeling mentally and physically. Let's take one more breath. And then walk the hands under the shoulders again. We come into the opening of the side of the body and then straight into the twist. So the left hand comes behind the sit bone. We sweep the right arm up and over, lifting up the hips and the chest. And then exhale, the sit bones come back down. We bring the left hand to the outside edge of the right foot and the right hand behind the sit bones. Gazing behind that shoulder. 2 more of those. Left hand behind the left sit bone. Sweep the right arm up and over. Exhale. Little twist. 1 more. Exhale. Sitting back down. Coming into a twist. Gaze behind. And then coming back round to the front. Lovely. This time we're not going to go into all fours. So wiggling both feet out in front of you. Paschimottanasana, forward fold. So just check in, maybe place your hands on your lower back. See if your tailbone is very close to touching the floor and see how it feels just to lift up and lengthen through the lower back. Maybe you give yourself a nice little massage just through the lower back area. And if you need a bit of extra assistance, always use a block and thread it under your sit bones just to give the tailbone a bit of an extra lift. Flexing the toes, inhale, you reach the arms, and then exhale, forward fold. So you can wrap the fingers around the toes, 2-piece fingers around the toes. And you can also place your hands on your calves, if that's a bit more comfortable, lifting yourself up a bit higher. Another option is having a strap and wrapping that strap around the balls of your feet. So I'm just holding an imaginary strap. Lovely. So wherever you are, let's take 2 more breaths in your forward fold. exhaling. Beautiful. We have just one more stretch which involves the upper body as well as the glutes and the lower body. So we're going to come back onto all fours, swivel the knees round, hands under the shoulders, and we're going to squeeze the right knee to the chest and then see if you can get a foot round the left leg. So we cross the legs almost like we're sitting down. Now I'm going to use a block just to demonstrate a few options. So we're going to sit the two sit bones down, our face forward, so you can see what this looks like from the front, coming into cow face. Now, if both sit bones are not touching the ground, then I would suggest using a block just to give you a bit more space. If you're using a block and that still doesn't feel good, then the last or one of the other options, the third option we're going to use, is extending that underneath leg. So the right leg's up, the left leg is long. So have a play, see what works for you. Coming into cow face. I'm going to use a block today. I don't feel too open in the glutes. And then once you're there, see if you can get the ankles nice and close. Either one ankle or both ankles if you're in the same position as me. And then we're going to lift up the left hand high to the sky. Right hand comes low, creating fists with the hands, and then sending the hands behind your back. So we're not going for a bind, we're not really stretching and going into a passive pose. This is more active. And this means that you can really lift the elbows away, opening the chest, but trying not to flare the ribs. So if you feel like you're opening the rib cage as well, see if you can wrap the core in, wrap the rib cage, but still keeping the chest and shoulders nice and open. Now, if you have more space, you're welcome to come into a forward fold. Keeping the back nice and long, lifting up and out of the lumbar spine. One more breath. And then as you inhale, lift yourself back up to seated. Release the arms. I hope my mic didn't cut out too much then. We're going to come back to all fours. Release the legs, bring that knee to the chest. And then back to that neutral all fours position. Left knee comes into the chest. We cross it round. Now we know what the options are this side. So have a seat, have a sit, take a seat and assess how you would like to manage this pose. So there's no pain. It's just if there's a bit of discomfort because of tight muscles, that's okay. But you shouldn't be experiencing any pain in any yoga pose. So see how it feels, have a play around. I always feel like I have to be a lot warmer to take the props away in this pose personally. So we're going to lift up the right hand, left hand down low, creating fists. Send the hands behind your back. Pull the hands as close together as you can, but not enough so that they're pushing onto the back of your neck. So keep the fists just slightly resting. Open up the elbows, open the chest, lengthen through the back of the neck, wrap the rib cage in, lift up and out of the sit bones. And if you have more space, you can start to reach forward and come into a forward fold, hinging from the hips. Beautiful. Let's take a couple more breaths. And then gently release, come back up. Extend the arms, bring them down by your side. Walk the hands forward, back to all fours. Knee comes into the chest. Moving any props away to one side. And then we're going to come down to a seated position just to close the practice. So crossing the legs. Bring the hands onto your laps. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and a big sigh. Hands come together. Take a moment to thank yourself for practicing, being present, and a moment of gratitude for your body. Have a lovely rest of your day or evening. Namaste.